One more game, guys, just one more game of what has been a pretty miserable season. And what didn't make it any better is after Matas Buzelis came back from being out the last 3 games with an illness, injures his ankle late in this game after an awkward landing on Franz Wagner's foot, did not come back from the game after that. Luckily, he was able to walk off the court on his own and looks like he'll be okay. I find it unlikely he's going to play in that final game against the Mavericks, although I think all of us were looking forward to that Flagg versus Matas matchup again. Cooper Flagg has just been playing out of his mind recently. But anyway, even though, yes, I am disappointed because I low-key wanted the Bulls to win this game against, of all teams, the Orlando Magic, a fan base I've had quite some beef with over the years. I think we knew this wasn't going to happen, given the Magic are fighting for their lives right now to try and get out of the play-in and are now fully healthy. All their core rotational guys are playing, and the Bulls, of course, still down everyone that's been out for the past few games, with the exception of Matas, who re-entered the lineup. I will say, though, the Bulls kept it interesting in the first half. Like, I really thought this was going to be a 50-plus point blowout game when you're playing two-way players a lot of minutes. But the Bulls did a decent job in keeping the Magic at bay, forced some turnovers, made the Magic take some difficult shots. Although, and I know this is going to come across as just being a hater, but the Magic just aren't that good. I know they've dealt with injuries all season. I know they just got everyone back and they're still getting into the swing of things, but their offense is just average at best. A lot of unforced turnovers, not a ton of ball movement, minimal spacing. They get to the free throw line at a decent rate, but their free throw shooting isn't great. This was a team that was expected to compete at the top of the Eastern Conference, and even when they have been healthy, they haven't looked that great. It'll be interesting to see how this offseason goes for these guys, if they flame out in the playoffs, or hell, if they don't even make the playoffs and get bounced in the play-in. But anyway, enough about the Magic. I'm not sure there is much to really call out as notable from this game. I would have expected more from Matas Buzelis with all the other guys being out of the lineup and him being the primary option on offense, and he struggled to get things going. Took way too many threes, went 0 for 9, which on the broadcast they said, I believe, was the worst individual shooting night by any player in Bulls history. Yikes. That's the thing with Matas that I want to see improvement on next season. I don't mean his three-point shooting, because generally speaking, he's a solid three-point shooter. He just didn't have it going for him tonight. No, I mean, I want to see him have the presence of mind and situational awareness that when you miss 5 or 6 threes in a row, you say, all right, it's just not my night tonight, and I'm just going to continue attacking inside, which he does well at. Like, I think most would agree that he's better at attacking the basket than he is as an off-ball shooter. He was 6 for 8 on 2s for night. Nearly all of his misses came from behind the arc. And we've seen this a lot from Matas throughout the season. Goes cold from deep, and rather than focusing on going inside in those moments, he continues to launch them. A lot of them heavily contested shots as well. Again, second-year player, only 21 years old. Those learnings will come in time. But yeah, it was a little frustrating to see Matas just continue to launch a bunch of threes. Also, I saw some people going in on Billy Donovan for keeping Matas in this game when it was already over. And of course, this being a meaningless game at that for the Bulls. Now, I'm not faulting Billy Donovan for that. There have been a lot of things I've been critical with Donovan over the years, and I still do not understand the obsession everyone has with this guy, but this isn't on him. If anything, you should be giving Matas these opportunities as long as he's able to play, especially in a game like this, where it's not like they're going up against another tanking team playing their G League lineup. No, this was a legit playoff contending starting 5 that he was going up against, and you need him to go through these experiences even if the game itself is meaningless for the Bulls. Leonard Miller, I still like what I'm seeing from this kid. Man played 39 minutes tonight. I don't know if that was necessary, but I guess Billy was like, why not? But what impressed me about Miller is that he actually held his own against the length and size of the Magic's bigs. Guarded Paolo decently well, same with Wendell Carter Jr., got switched on to Wagner a few times and contested shots against him down low. Another 15 points for Leonard Miller as well, coming off his career high, was 5 for 10, 2 for 4 from 3, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and a block. Man was pickpocketing these guys on inbounds plays after a made basket like he was Jose Alvarado. Another 3 offensive rebounds, which you love to see because the Bulls for years now have always struggled on the offensive glass. I'm telling you, man, Bulls got to get out and get ahead of his contract situation. Might be one of AK's rare finds, one of his few parting gifts that he can give to us Bulls fans after all of the heartbreaking decisions that he's made over the years. Now, somewhat of a better game from Rob Dillingham. I say somewhat because he still missed some very easy shots. He still struggled when the Magic had their main guys in. It wasn't until really garbage time when Dillingham started to look better, but 13 points for Dillingham. Took better care of the ball in this game compared to what we saw last night against the Wizards, so that was great. And then Patrick Williams. I guess April Pat has already come and quickly gone. Blown close range shots. The ball handling when driving inside has gone back to what we're typically used to seeing. 8 points, 4 rebounds, a -24 when he was on the court. So yeah, short-lived for any of those that thought maybe Patrick is turning things around a bit. I didn't. I know a lot of people didn't, but I'm sure there were a handful of you who maybe thought or were encouraged by Patrick Williams and his performances over the last couple of games. Anyway, the Bulls had 20 turnovers, shot 26% from 3, 44% from the field, and they started Lachlan Olbrich in this game. So yeah, not a chance this was going to end any differently than the result that we saw in a loss. The good news is, though, the Milwaukee Bucks, they beat the Nets, which means the Bulls are now a full game ahead or behind, depending on how you look at it, but they are now sitting squarely with the 9th best lottery odds, a full game over the Bucks. The problem now, though, is the Bulls have the Mavs in their final game of the season, who aren't trying to win and are actually tied right now with the Grizzlies in the standings for the 6th best odds. And the Bucks have the Sixers, who are absolutely trying to win to see if they can potentially avoid the play-in spot or at least move up to 7th so they have home court in the first play-in game. So the Bulls, they control their own destiny. All they have to do is lose, and they'll have the 9th best odds. If they win and the Bucks lose to the Sixers, we're looking at another coin flip and split odds between the Bulls and the Bucks. We'll know by Sunday night where every team is going to stand, and then of course we'll potentially know the future of Billy Donovan the following day when he sits down with ownership. But anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts on tonight's game. Let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.